YouTube, I am super excited to be bringing a new game reaction to the channel. 10 new details you've missed in the Ghost of YOTEI gameplay reveal. Now, I love Ghost of Tsushima. If you don't know what Ghost of Tsushima is, basically like a Japanese type of Japanese type of game back in like the first Mongol invasion. Okay, so this is historical. Okay, this game is basically based in the 1700s in Hokkaido region, which is the most northern top plate region in Japan, the biggest region in Japan also. And it's basically about this like chick who's hunting down these groups. I don't know the whole story, but I've seen like a little bit of the trailer. I went to watch the trailer with y'all, but I realized the trailer was like 20 minutes, so I'm not. So we're gonna react to it right now. We're gonna react to the 10 new details because I know nobody's gonna want to react to a whole trailer because I think the trailer wasn't really reactable for real, unless like you got a fan. But let's get into the video.
Companion, maybe a bear. New weapons, a wolf companion, maybe a bear. New weapons, armor, activities, interrogation, exploration, and so much more.
You can slide
Shown
now.
a ton of new details about Ghost of YOTEI. I've been through it frame by frame. Here's some details they didn't call out. Let's go.
Okay, let's see this. You can parry attacks. We already knew that. The last second. So, all right, we already knew that.
We'll start with the YOTEI 6, and as always, let me know anything I've missed in the comments down below, things you're interested in. But this is the main antagonist group for Atsu's journey, which are a group of 6 mysterious masked figures that have slaughtered her family and sent Atsu on this journey. Sounds oddly familiar to another game based in Japan with a female protagonist whose family was murdered by masked characters. Anyway, moving on. But outside...
Wait, what game was that? Was that Shadows?
There is actually quite a few differences into, I think, how this game will actually play. So, we didn't get a ton of information about this YOTEI 6, except for one being the snake. Now, during the later section...
Let me make sure my camera looks good to y'all. Okay. So, I remember last time I recorded a video, my camera was like...
the Japanese voiceover. You do get to see the snake talking to Atsu. You do learn a little bit about Atsu's past, being her father being a swordsmith, and you know he is one of the YOTEI 6 seemingly, because when you look at those scenes of the YOTEI 6, you can see him there with his mask on. His character design's basically the same. He's just got a funny little mask over the top.
That just ruined the whole story for me, bro. Why did they tell us that?
But what I wanted really to talk about here is the interrogation, because I don't think they explain this exactly how it's going to work in the state of play. As when you interrogate this random enemy, you get the option to pick between like a topic you want to talk about. And this shows you a new weapon and a new region. What this actually seems to be referring to isn't like, say, like a new weapon upgrade or something. It's actually unlocking that weapon type and then going to that new region of the map. Now, the 2 examples that are shown is the Oni, which comes with the weapon Yari, which is the spear, and the new region, the Ishikara Plain, and the second being the Kitsune, which is able to unlock the new weapon, the Kusuragami, and the new region being the Teshio.
That is crazy.
The reason that I think these are actually linked to the YOTEI 6 and the main story directly is because of the activity card icons that you see. So a little bit more on the activity cards in a little bit, but you know, the icons that we see for these 3 different topic options you can pick, you can directly match them to the images of the YOTEI 6 that we see a little bit earlier in the trailer. So seemingly this is how you're going to progress through that main story, is by these interrogations, choosing which one of these threads that you want to pull on and which one you want to go to, and then by completing that main mission and, say for example, beating the snake or whoever, you know, the Oni or the Kitsune is, you'll then unlock that weapon to use, which we'll cover a little bit later as what exactly that means, but that's actually how you get the...
I'm already liking this game. I can't wait. I know it's time to pre-order College Football 26, but that low-key came up out of nowhere, bro. Like, I thought I was getting paid the same time College Football 26 come out. This, I'm pre-ordering in August or September. Gotta get it early. I'm almost done with my PC. That's really the only reason why I didn't get College Football 26 yet.
Unlocks, that's how you'll go to these new regions. And
oh, need my GPU, chat.
Ghost of Tsushima was quite a deep exploration-based game where you weren't necessarily just clearing markers on an open world map, but following the wind and the animals to find locations. This does seem to be taken further in Ghosts of YOTEI with the activity cards and that interrogation system we just mentioned, but that does at this stage appear to only be linked to the main story. But really, it's the activity cards. We did get like a big shot of activity cards. Yellow ones are the main missions. The white ones are definitely representative of other tasks, seemingly, like activities, maybe side quests. There's one that's like a horse, maybe that's like a horse racing. The shrine icons, probably like the altars of reflection, which
I hope they're not boring.
Technique. And then we do see some of these activities a little bit later as well.
One thing from like Spider-Man, Miles Morales to Spider-Man 2 was the side missions were way better in Spider-Man 2. So I hope this is the same. That looks cool. That looks cool.
Like the drawing that Atsu does, there is a moment where she flicks a coin off a table in this weird first-person like cutscene, and there is a activity card that does have a coin on it. Don't really know what that means, but the bamboo slicing minigame and the hot screens do also return. We didn't see.
I can already see, bro. If they show the back of her like they showed Jen, that's not gonna be good. Holy.
Haiku making or anything like that, even following foxes to unlock things, but you do see a little bit of those threads being the animals specifically, because there is a blink and you miss it moment where it does say follow golden birds to discover places of interest. You'll also use the spyglass now as well to discover new locations, so that exploration is still there. It just seems to be treated a little bit differently. Plus the cartographers, you'll be able to select parts of the map to find activities that you can do, and this seems to be like manually placed on the map too, which I did find quite interesting. Camping actually was one thing that I was very interested in.
So like Red Dead,
specifically the summoning of your like wolf pack, like your companions things. Interesting concept. So you can access their vendor inventories and upgrades without having to like fast travel back to where they are. Really interesting idea, kind of genius in a way, considering all open world games you regularly return to like a hub area, specific merchants, NPCs, things that you need to go and talk to, and you kind of fast travel back there, do what you need to do, and then fast travel back to wherever you were exploring. So I like that they're bringing that stuff to you. I'm curious to know how that affects the pacing or the flow, or maybe if it gets a little too annoying, right? Like if you're constantly being badgered by these NPCs because they've got upgrades for you or new gear, blah blah blah.
Bro,
like,
I hope this game still has like references to Jen.
What that balance is, but I do quite like the idea of camping. Looking at the wolf pack screen as well, it does seem that you can summon them directly to your camp, but it doesn't seem you can summon all of the wolf pack members, as at one point there's Master Inomoto that is shown, who has a new technique that Atsu can learn, but you do have to return to his dojo on our mountain, whereas Rand the Boa, a vendor, has new gear for you, and you can just set up camp and they'll actually visit you by clicking on the option on the Wolfpack screen.
Her name is Rand?
I wanted to mention as well that it does seem like you can put camps anywhere you'd like, as there is a moment as well where it briefly shows up that you cannot camp now, when it seems like whoever was playing the game at that point accidentally pressed down on the D-pad, so you can see that pop up, and I'm assuming that's because they're close to a hostile camp, so you can't camp at that point, which is something I wanted to call out. Stances were a core part of Ghost of Tsushima, but they are vastly different now, being linked to weapons rather than just different attack styles.
No, bro. I'm telling you, I loved... Which one was the one where it broke the shields? I forgot the name, but bro, the one where it broke the shields was always so good. Like, it was so satisfying when like he was about to break the shields off the person. Like, he was like... And like, they'd be like... They like stumble. Okay. I hope y'all know what I'm talking about.
Katanas. So the different weapon types here is the katana, the spear, or the yari, which is exactly what it's called in the game. It's just in the voiceover on the state of play, they call it a spear. The
see how you can get your gun.
Odachi, and the dual katanas, or dual swords, as they called it. Now,
I hope it's like Spider-Man 2, where it's not like a pause or like stop at the game. We're trying to pull out the weapons.
Types, like it is mentioned that the dual katanas are best against spears. We're not sure about the other weapon categories, though the Odachi is mentioned to be good against the larger enemies. So I'm curious to know if the Odachi specifically is for a specific enemy type, being the larger enemies, whereas all of the other weapons are good against specific weapon types, if that makes sense. And that might be amplified by the fact that in the moments where you can actually see like the tooltips pop up and they, pause the game to switch between their weapons, you can see the tools on the left-hand side being those old ghost tools.
Oh, yeah. So you still got the fire. I'm assuming that's the smoke. Of course, the katana. What is that one? You turn into a genie? I'm guessing you just turn into a genie, bro. I'm not giving him 3 wishes.
Called quickfire, plus the ranged weapon that's equipped being a rifle here. It does also seem later as well that you can have multiple ranged weapons equipped. It's just whichever one is like on that quick hotkey, as later on you can see a shot where you do aim down the sights with the rifle, and you can see there is a short bow on the up arrow, and then on the right hand side there are different ammo types you can switch between. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. On the right hand side here, you can actually see the different weapon types being like mapped to the different face buttons that you would press. Typically in Ghost of Tsushima, this is where you would change your stance, but then on the L2 is where you actually have the Odachi, so it's bound to a different button. So I do wonder if it's treated a little differently to the other weapon categories, like it's a bit more of a stronger weapon.
Dang! Enemy. What? How is she not dead?
Rather than the weapon type that the enemy is actually using. I do want to talk about the wolf pack and the allies a little bit more, specifically the wolf mostly, because I kind of think that the wolf is just going to follow you the whole way through the game once you have unlocked them. And by the way, this shot here where the wolf appears is very clearly the end of that earlier cutscene shown right at the start of the state of play, where Atsu is like lifting up that shrine to her family, because you can see the shrine there and she's obviously kneeling in respect. So I'm assuming very early in the game the wolf appears and then joins you for the rest of the journey. So when you are looking at the wolf pack,
I hope you can take the wolf away. I just want to fight by myself.
That you can get new techniques from, as well as like upgrade your gear, some of the camp, all the stuff we talked about. What's different here, one, is that they do specifically call out how the wolf can fight with you. We see multiple scenes of the wolf following Atsu, as well as being in a standoff animation with Atsu. And earlier, when you do see the skill trees, it does appear that the wolf has its own skill tree, as when you're looking at the different trees here, now we don't see all of them expanded, but there is Core, Onryo, Melee, Revenge, and Wolf. The only tree that we actually get to see a bit of is the Onryo tree that contains attacks, assassinations, and survival, and the specific skills we get to see is the perfect parry and the disarm counter. However, you know, we do see the wolf use a standoff animation with Atsu later in the trailer, and wolf is also shown next to Atsu on the wolf pack screen, and it does, just to me, kind of feel like maybe the wolf will be able to be a son or companion, because the animals in general have always been a big part of like the Ghosts franchise, like the one game we've had so far, and I'm curious if because of Atsu's connection to wolves, if you'll be able to summon the wolf.
I hope in like 4 or 5 more years we get another game, and since they already started the whole like once the characters here, they're done. Like, do that, and then just bring them up in future titles. Like, I hope Jin is in this one, and then in the next one goes to Kyoto. That'd be cool. You can see her Atsu and Jin. That'd be cool.
Upgrade with certain abilities. Maybe it'll sort of come in and
it'd
out
be
of
cool,
combat,
like, because now Jin can't be the face of PlayStation.
Directly summonable or controllable.
Because he doesn't have multiple
I am curious
games.
as well, as I don't know if you noticed, but in the photo mode, you are standing next to a bear at one point. Is there a bear ally? Is
no,
it just like a random
there's
bear
not.
That you find?
I'm gonna be real.
I just thought that was curious as well. Loadouts and gear have gone through a bit of a change as well. So we do have 6 charm slots here, and there's 4 different types of charms that we do see. There's a melee charm, a range charm, defense or armor charms, and then there's one that's like this weird circly icon, which I don't exactly know what that's going to be. I'm guessing it's just some sort of like passive charm something, but we do have 6 charm slots, and on the left hand side of the gear screen you can see there's like 3 loadout icons. Assumingly you'll be able to switch between these loadouts on the fly, so say have like a range build, a stealth build, and a melee build all set up with like the different outfits and weapons and everything that you want to use. Interestingly, when you're looking at the equipment screen as well, the instrument has its own slot. Are there different instruments or different colors of instruments? I'm not exactly sure if it's just a customization
different colors
thing,
and different songs that you can play, probably.
Same with the horse saddle being listed there as well. Assumingly there's some customization tied to that. Don't know if there's any stats tied to that like there is.
Yo, these fits are tough. This is the default fit, too. Jesus.
Weapons and things that there are.
That
we
looks
do
tough,
also
though.
see a bunch of shots of different outfits and looks and ways to be able to play Ghost of YOTEI.
That's my first time actually seeing what she actually looks like.
There's a range of armor and fits you'll be able to rock as well. Hopefully there is transmog. We didn't get to see it, but you can change the color of your armor.
Ooh, I like that one.
A couple of small
Is that a
details
tornado?
I did want to call out. At the bottom right, where Ghost stance was, we do see Onryo's how, which, what is this? Don't know. Maybe it's some sort of like ultimate rage mechanic thing that you essentially press it and it's just like a win button that, you know, you rage out for a moment. You can just slice through all of the enemies. Probably something like that, as it does seem to be charged. As you can see, shots of Atsu taking out enemies, and you do gain pips towards like filling.
So are all these people
bar.
Japanese?
I also thought it was interesting how much damage Atsu was doing to these enemies, as well as how much they were doing to her. Like, they are very deadly, and I wonder if that's lethal mode or if just the overall scaling of
Nah, it
damage
can't be
has been
lethal mode.
changed here, because
Look at the UI.
Tsushima on its normal mode, there is a little bit spongy, the enemies, and so are you. So I'm curious if there is a lethal mode here at launch, or if this is just, you know, maybe the default difficulty.
Bro, we just saw that. Holy. How do you let them do that to you?
For the purpose of this state of play. Now,
Grown-ass
something we
man
did get to see a bit of that was
That is a
mentioned
grown-ass
the disarming
man, though.
mechanic, which is obviously tied to that disarm counter skill that was shown. Now, I am genuinely curious, what happens when you disarm the enemy? Do they just like stand there and be like, oh no, I have no weapon? And, you know, do they run away? Do they try and punch you? Do they switch weapons?
Yeah, they never
twice,
show that.
making you then switch to a different weapon? Not really sure there. I'm curious to see what that means. It does seem like you can pick up the weapons that these enemies drop, as there is a point later in the trailer where you do see the option to press L2 to pick up the Odachi that is on the ground. I assume that's an Odachi. And then earlier in the state of play, you do see a point where she picks up a spear and throws it at the enemy as well. So what I'm kind of getting at here about picking up these weapons is I'm curious if, say, how you have to unlock these weapons by interrogating the enemy.
One thing that I'm also glad is the graphics, they changed a little bit, and I'm not even mad, because Ghost of Tsushima, you can't really upgrade as much from there, you feel me? But these look better. You can see the trees, and this is probably on the PS5, so I'm ready for it to come to PC in 10,000 years. Like, PlayStation, just do what Xbox does and just drop it day one for PC players too. Come on, bro, we want to play it too. But I like this. I like the graphics, and they did a lot of changes. That's the crazy part. Like,
going and doing those parts.
it's
of the
not like
story
2K.
to
It's not
unlock
the same
weapons
game.
themselves, same as how you had to unlock the stances in Ghost of Tsushima. I'm curious if, say, you haven't unlocked like a spear or an Adachi or whatever that weapon is, and if you disarm the enemy, can you still pick it up before you've unlocked how to use it? And if you can, is that then how you get the benefit of, say, you know, you're fighting an enemy that has a spear, and it being mentioned that the dual katanas are good against enemies with spear. If, say, you disarm an enemy that has the dual katanas, you pick them up, you can then use it against that spear enemy, even though you haven't unlocked it yet. Curious about how that'll work, and if that's even a thing, if it's, you know, I'm just talking out of my ass here really, but I'm just generally curious about how the disarming is overall going to work. I did want to just touch on some general thoughts about Ghost of YOTEI as well. As, you know, I do kind of think the gameplay itself, like the moment-to-moment gameplay, is going to be a little bit more different to Tsushima than it does appear in this state of play. Visually, it appears very, very similar. You just have a new protagonist, but the new weapons you'll be using in combat, there's a bit of a different pacing to the game.
I expect a lot of icy regions. This is literally Russian, close to Russia, bro.
More of a focus on that exploration.
I didn't even know about this mountain until this game came out.
Slowly, which definitely was a part of Tsushima, but it does seem a little different here. The combat looks great as well, like it was great in Tsushima anyway, but it looks good here.
I do
wonder what happened to all those old katana stances.
I don't never see myself doing this.
What actually are the katana upgrades? Are they the stances? Generally curious about that too. I was a little disappointed that the parkouring and platforming stuff looks almost identical to what it was in Tsushima, and I always felt it was a little finicky in Tsushima. Like, it just didn't flow perfectly, but, you know, it does look exactly the same.
The parkour was
overall, I'm in.
great.
I'm excited.
Bro, Ghost of Tsushima is low-key just a better Assassin's Creed when you think about it. Like a Japanese better Assassin's Creed. This versus Shadows, this 100%. Shadows, I haven't played it, but it looks good. This looks 10,000 times better.
Play more. The modes look really cool. I hope that you can switch between them just in live gameplay. Like, you don't, you know, for example, if you're playing on the lo-fi mode, I don't necessarily want to be listening to lo-fi music for 60 plus hours. It'd be nice if I could just switch that on and off. Overall though, I really liked what I saw. It does look like more Ghost of Tsushima, and Ghost of Tsushima was a fantastic game, so definitely keen for that with a lot of these changes to see how it flows, and the pacing is going to be a really interesting thing, as I think you'll be changes to see how it flows, and the pacing is going to be really interesting.
I might play on that
because I think you'll be playing this game at a very slow pace compared to how you play most open world games, which I think is going to definitely stand it out from the pack in terms of this sort of a genre. But let me know your...
Okay, what am I seeing right here? Come on. Okay, for all my Ghost of Yotei fans and all my Ghost of Tsushima fans, let me know how y'all think, bro. I am so ready for this game. I will be buying it, and we will be doing a whole like y'all will see my live reaction to the whole game. Okay, that means I'm gonna have to wait. I might just record the whole thing at the same time. It's gonna be hard. Let me know how y'all think. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Tell me how y'all feel about the game. Tell me what y'all want me to react to, and tell me what y'all want more. By the way, I had to take out my AI cooler, which means I got to get more thermal paste. So yeah, perfect. But I had to do that because I had to fix my CPU boot thing. It was showing that those 2 red dots for the DRAM and the CPU thing. And I took the CPU out thinking it might have been my CPU. Comes to find out, it's my RAM sticks. All I had to do was just put my RAM sticks in the 2 and 4 slot, chat. So I just took out my whole CPU and had to spend a whole $10 for some more thermal paste when I could have still had it on there. But now it's good. It's just saying Vega, and that's just because I don't got a GPU right now. So can't wait, bro. 2 more things to do: GPU and SSD, and I'm done. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here. I'll see y'all